Hello there, this is Retro Spirits Guided, and this is 16-bit platform games that I own, and they're ranked from 34 to 1 for your pleasure. I'm going to do the countdown in the style of a dance announcer, as is customary. Also, as is customary with these lists, there are no Neo Geo games, because people always go, Neo Geo is not 16-bit, but it is. That was Neo Geo is not 16-bit, by the way, in case you didn't register that. There are 2 stinking games on this list, and they are the first 2 in the list, because the list is supposed to get better as it goes, isn't it? That's the way these countdown things work. And yeah, avoid those 2, but anything else on this list, you might get some fun out of. The top 10 are kind of interchangeable, really, depending on which way the wind's blowing that particular day. And here in Magic Sword you've got 2 muscular blokes running around battering things with their giant weapons, which is a beautiful thing to behold. Anyway, let's crack on. In 34 we have Fantasia. This is an awful game. It's audibly terrible. It's visually alright. Gameplay wise, it's abysmal, with horrible collision detection, sluggish controls, I mean the most sluggish controls I've ever seen in a platform game, and this was supposed to be for kids, but look at all these manic sprites jumping around in your face. Yeah, it's no good. In 33, the Addams Family Pugsley Scavenger Hunt, a game so difficult that it'll try and kill you on the map screen. I shit thee not. The controls on this are similarly awful. Not as bad as Fantasia, but they are awful. And you get this horrible sound effect. That one. Every time you stop, it's just infuriating. The game is difficult and awful. It's just really difficult. 32. Joan Mac Caveman Ninja. The only Super Famicom game I know that runs at like 30 frames a second, platform wise. As you can see here, it's fairly jerky. This isn't a horrible game. It's sort of responsive. The character has some awkward jumping skills, but it's passable. It's not as good as the arcade machine, and not as accurate as the Mega-Drive game to the arcade. In 31, we have DraculaXX. This game is a fun knock-around game with some classic tunes, it has to be said. Graphically a little tatty. It has some weird controls that take some getting used to, but the character is at least responsive. And it's got kind of a cool horror theme. It appears to be some sort of mummy-style creature with a face in its belly, which is a bit odd. But yeah, it's alright. In 30, we have Adventure Island. Now, this is Wonder Boy by any other name. It's got nice music. It's got very chunky graphics. Very colourful chunky graphics. And it's responsive. The only problem with this game is that it's bloody hard. It's like the hardest version of Wonder Boy I've played in many a year. But it's alright. Yuzo Koshiro did the soundtrack, I believe. Nice. In 29, we have Sparkster. This is a misstep by Konami. This is an annoying platform game. The size of your sprites versus the screen space you move around in means it's frustration central. Audio visually, it is Konami, so it is good looking and it's wonderful sounding. They just messed up the level design on this. Big style. And it's an incredibly expensive game. It's just not worth the money. Might be worth some of your time though. 28. We have Wonder Boy Monsterland. Now this is the game where you run around in your pants collecting coins from snakes. It's alright. It's a weird game for an arcade game. And I do remember seeing this in the arcade. It's kind of like an RPG light kind of thing going on. But it's responsive. Graphically it's okay, sonically it's okay. This is on the PC Engine. It's just bloody hard. Again, another game ruined by its difficulty. In 27, It's Magical Quest with Mickey Mouse. Now this game is supposed to be for kids, but it's bloody hard. Mickey is a ball ache to control in this game. Visually it's okay, it's kind of Capcom-y. It's a bit weird colour-wise, like Mickey looks a bit dour, like he's like a reanimated zombie Mickey. Musically it's horrible, it's Capcom's usual bullshit on the SNES. Cheapish game, not a brilliant game. That's why it's this far back in the table. In 26, The New Zealand Story. This is on the PC Engine. This is a classic arcade game. Visually, the PC Engine version kind of looks a bit like it. It sounds horrible. It's got similar gameplay, which is sort of platformy, a little bit shootery. That's okay. It's just not a very good conversion of the arcade machine in terms of the features. So things like the extend you can't get, the level layouts are a bit weird. But it's alright, it's still New Zealand Story, which is a class arcade game. 25, we have Disney's Aladdin on the Mega Drive. Now, this game is a visual treat, it's an audio nightmare, and it's a gameplay meh. It's alright. A lot of people really rate this game and love this game. I'm not one of them. I find the level design very fussy, although I do appreciate the animation. That's nice. The way the screen scrolls with your character means it's horrific to actually play, so that's my beef with that game. In 24 is Warden the Special. There's a common theme here. So this game is a pretty accurate conversion of the Warden arcade machine. Audio visually, it's nothing special, but it's alright. Gameplay wise, it's just really bloody hard, for no real good reason. The way your character's shot fires is annoying, but you can upgrade that. It's a whole wall of pain to get through before you get any good at this game. In 23, it's Pac-Land on the PC Engine. This is a pretty good port of the arcade machine. We miss the parallel scrolling. We've got two control methods, but it's just a decent platform game. It's nice to control. The music is infuriating in its catchiness, but yeah, it's alright. What can you say? Other than, yeah. In 22 is ActRaiser. Now this is a part platform game, part kind of RPG-like game. The platform game sections, and this is the first one here, are rock bloody hard. Again, sonically, this is quite nice. Visually, it's okay. And it's this far down the list just because of the obnoxious difficulty. It's a fairly cheap game. It's alright. ActRaiser. In 21, Ghostbusters. Oh, the name alone makes me want to play this game. I'm a Ghostbusters super fan, and not that this game is anything like the movies, but we do have some pleasing audio visuals, like the caricatures of the characters are great. It's a platform game, it's difficult, it's got some shooting action, it's Ghostbusters. It's got the title screen with a ghost on it, with a, in the no ghost warning sign thing. Yeah. In 20, Chicky Boys. This is a platform action game where you collect coins, you beat up sort of hairy nonces. I don't know if they're nonces, they might be nonces. There's a happy tree, look at that. Oh, wonderful. It's a great conversion of a Capcom arcade game, and it's just arcade action. It's not that difficult, and it looks and sounds okay, so that's why it's mid-table on my list. That's Chicky Boys. In 19 is Sonic the Hedgehog, the original Sonic the Hedgehog on the Mega Drive. An audio-visual tour de force, well the first level is anyway. Gameplay wise, it's alright. The first Sonic game, I only really played Green Hill Zone. I can't stand any of the other levels. It's just too bloody annoying. They're not designed for Sonic's skill set, which is weird. Good bonus stage though in Sonic 1. I enjoy that bonus stage. Like I say, the visuals, beautiful. In 18 is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. It's more of the same from Team Sonic. It's got a bit of a better game structure, Sonic 2. Sort of improved visuals in some areas. Never liked this bonus stage, so that's why I put it in the video, because I'm an obtuse idiot. Yeah, everyone knows Sonic the Hedgehog and Sonic the Hedgehog 2. They're alright, they're passable. Audio-visually, they're all great. Gameplay-wise, this one's not so... Well, it's better than the first one. In 17, we have Super Mario Collection. Now, as the name suggests, this is 3 or 4 Mario games on one cartridge. The classic Super Mario Bros. Here. Why is this so far down my list? Well, they've done something weird with the controls. It doesn't feel like it controls correct compared to what I'm used to. And I hate what they've done with the audio visuals. So this is why it's quite far down the list. I still rather play it than Sonic the Hedgehog, because as a game, I mean, it's just better. Audio visually, worse. In 16, with Mystical Ninja. This is another game where it mixes genres a little bit. So we have kind of a walkie around, do things in a village type gameplay segment. But then we have platform action game section, which is fun. The only thing about this game is the power-up system is annoying. So as soon as you get touched by anything, you lose your power-ups. It's frustration. But audio-visually, lovely. In 15, we have Rainbow Islands. Now this is a pretty decent conversion of Rainbow Islands on your MEGADRIVE. This is Rainbow Islands Extra. I'd prefer it if it was just standard Rainbow Islands. You get the Darius characters in this, which makes the game much, much harder. Well, it makes a hard game even harder. But, yeah, it's just a decent game. And I play it much more than the games previously on the list, so sue me. In 14, we have Vampire's Kiss, DraculaXX on the Super Nintendo. This is a decent Castlevania game. It plays okay. What sets this apart is the audio visuals, which are up to a point. A little bit later, lush. There's a level later which is really crappy, but the first few stages are gorgeous. It's just classic Castlevania. Shuffle along, hitting things with your whip. Not as good as Castlevania IV. In 13, we've got Magic Sword on the Super Nintendo. Another arcade conversion. This is a fast-paced, jumpy action game where you will jump and hack and slash your way through myriad enemies, trying to get to the top of the tower and defeat evil ne'er-do-wells. It's just a fun time. It's cool and fairly cheap, and there's lots of stuff going on in it. Usual Capcom though, graphics okay, music horrible. In 12, Castle of Illusion on the MEGADRIVE. Now this is just a pleasant time all around. Controls nicely, we've got nice audio visuals. Weirdly, again for a Disney game, I find this game really hard for some reason, and I'm not sure why that is. But it is difficult. The second level is a bit tedious, but yeah, it's a cool game, and I'd much rather play it than say Sonic on the MEGADRIVE. Mad, huh? In 11, we have Crankshots starring Donald Duck. Now this is a platform action game which has a bit of toing and froing. It's like a Metroid light, starring everyone's favourite Angry Duck. Now, visually this game is very nice indeed, although the animations aren't brilliant, as you can see by that plunged Burke. The music is pretty horrible, but the gameplay is great, and I used to play this so much back in the day, you wouldn't believe it. So this is why it's so high up in my list. I just have fond memories of this one. In 10, we have Rocket Knight Adventures. This is a classic MEGADRIVE platform action game. So Sparkster was way down the list, this is way up the list. It's got lovely audio visuals, nice level design, which actually works with your jetpack powers rather than against your jetpack powers. And it's just a class game all around. Well done, Konami. I love Rocket Knight Adventures. I love you, Rocket Knight! Oof. Year 9 is Super Donkey Kong. So, ugly graphics aside, this game plays so nicely, it had to be quite high up in the list. Visually, like I said, don't like it audio-wise, it's nice, but the gameplay is very satisfying. The way that the level design is laid out means the game is a joy to play. And it controls pretty well as well. Riding a rhino is just the icing on the cake, and that's Super Donkey Kong or Donkey Kong Country. Lovely. In 8 is the Super Shinobi 2, or Shinobi 3, depending on which region you're in. This is a lovely action platform game where you, as a ninja, hunt down bad guys, shoot them in the face with shurikens, and do jumping platform actions. It's audio-visually very neat indeed, and just a class act all round. So yeah, had many exciting hours playing this game. The last 2 levels suck balls, but other than that, cool. In 7, Shadow Dancer. This is basically your Shinobi game, your arcade Shinobi, on your MEGADRIVE home console. You've got a dog that can go and rip people's throats out, which is fun. Audio-visually, not brilliant. I'd say the audio is probably better than the visuals in terms of quality. But it's classic Shinobi action, arcade style, fast paced and good fun, so it's a thumbs up from me. In 6, Revenge of Shinobi. Another ninja game in my top 10, damn straight. All these ones on the Mega Drive are awesome. Now, the Revenge of Shinobi is a bit of a slower paced game than either of the 2 previous ones in this list, but it does have special nostalgia for me, being one of the first Mega Drive games I bought and played to death back in the day. Hence, this is why it's so high on my list. Still incredible quality music. In 5, we have Yoshis Island on the Super Famicom, Super Nintendo. This is just an incredibly high quality platform game with one annoying feature, which is crying baby Mario, but other than that, what a fantastic game this is. Very inventive, action-packed, platforming joy, audio-visual treat, apart from that whining baby. Yoshi's Island. Lovely. See ya! In 4, we have Super Mario World. Now, I got this when I got my Super Famicom originally, and I played this to death. The ghost houses were amazing. This is just a fun Mario time. Controls perfectly, visuals are adequate, some of the music is great. Yeah, I love this game. It's all about the gameplay, and Super Mario World has that in spades. Thanks, Mario. In 3, we have Castlevania IV on the Super Nintendo. Now, what sets this apart from other Castlevania games is the whip action. It's wonderful. Don't know why they don't do this more in games, but the whip is like... it just adds an extra dimension to the levels. Visually, you can see this game's not all that. Sonically, it's beautiful. The gameplay is brilliant. I used to play this so much back in the day. It's unbelievable. Look at his stupid walk. Yeah, they could have done something better with the graphics, but... In 2, we've got Super Metroid. Now, I find these type of games incredibly addictive. The old walk around the map, open the new routes style games. And it's perfected here on the Super Nintendo with Super Metroid, a game which I've completed multiple times back in the day. An expensive game to buy now, but it is a super fun time. We've got nice audio visuals, and we've got that classic map action, so that's why it's at number 2. Spent so many hours playing this game, couldn't believe it. In 1, we have Strider. Now, this game probably doesn't deserve to be number 1 on my list, but I've played this game so much more than any other game on this list for the following reasons. I find it incredibly cinematic. I like the main character, the way he sticks to the walls and stuff. I like the theme and the setting. I like the music. I like the visuals. I put up with the clunky gameplay because I like so much about it. So that's Strider on the Mega Drive. The arcade version does look a bit nicer, but the Mega Drive puts in a bit of a shift here. if I sell a Mega Drive and I buy a Mega Drive again, Strider's always the game that I get first. Because I've sold a few Mega Drives back in the day when I was a bit poor. Had to get rid of stuff. And I always make sure I get a copy of Strider because I just can't not. I might have an issue. Someone needs to intervene because I might want to marry it. Anyway, that's the 16-bit platform games I own. You've probably got your own order that you put those games in. Strider wouldn't be at the top of your list, would it? But it's at the top of mine. So hopefully you agree with some picks there. But those are the ones I own. Cheers!